Hello, welcome back to Shock's Talks. I'm Shakti, some people call me Shocks, or Shock, or Shokalak, or Shikashak, or Shakti Bhakti. You get the idea. Anyway, I'm here to talk about meditation today. And why am I qualified to talk about meditation? Well, I've been meditating since I was a baby. And I know that sounds crazy. I've been next to people who are meditating from a very young age. And I started formally practicing meditation at the age of 5 in a private school where we meditated and did yoga every single day. And I did that up until middle school, and then I kind of transitioned into the public school system for a while and tried to be as normal as possible. And then later in life, in my 20s, I took yoga teacher training, Hatha yoga, levels 1 and 2 with meditation and breath work, and I've been doing my own practice ever since. So on this channel, I'm normally talking about anomalous phenomena, consciousness, and I have done a deep dive into UFO history. I like to keep up to date with UAP news. I like to go to these conferences, but I'm super interested in consciousness, functions of consciousness, psi abilities, and all of these things overlap. So right now I'm in the second half of Whitley Strieber's new book, The Fourth Mind. And in that part of the book, he's getting into a lot of this kind of overlap between the UFO and alien topic and actually like Hinduism and the Rig Veda and the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras and siddhis or powers that can be attained through meditative practices and yogic practices. And the reason he's exploring this cross-section of these topics is because, and I came to this on my own as well, so that's why I find it fascinating that this is in his latest book, but if you study the UFO and UAP topic and you go deep enough, you're going to come across remote viewing, you're going to go down a psychic rabbit hole, you're going to start learning about basically human potential and some of the strange and interesting things that people have been able to do with consciousness, including out-of-body experiences or just accessing data non-locally with the mind. And then if you go back into these ancient texts, you'll also see that these ancient texts are giving people the tools to work their way towards having those experiences and other anomalous things like levitation or healing abilities. And there's a whole list of others. So when I do my video on part 2 of Whitley's book, I'll break down, what he's talking about in there. But today I just want to talk about meditation because this morning I went to a hot yoga class and I was texting my sister afterwards, and she was saying that today at her work, they brought in some kind of mindfulness coach or something, and they were talking to all the employees about meditation. And she was starting to feel kind of bad about herself. Gosh, I grew up on a yoga ashram. My dad meditates every day. Our dad's been meditating for 30, 40 years, every single morning, 5 a.m., sitting in full or half lotus. He's doing the traditional classic meditation. He's really into the yoga that he teaches and practices, and that includes, a physical practice, a meditation practice, and breath work. Actually, the breath comes before the meditation. And she was just thinking to herself, God, all these people are normies and they're talking about their meditation practices and I don't even do anything. And we chatted back and forth for a little while, and I was saying well, if you want to do something, you should find something that feels fun, because if you're gonna go back to it again and again, it has to be for a reason. It's not all of us can force ourselves to do these things, and I don't think that's a great approach personally. My version of meditation is trying so many different things, there have been times in my life when it was literally smoking weed and observing my thoughts. And that was extremely powerful over time to work in a different reality frame, a different flavor of thinking, and work with anxiety and work with all the mental things that come up in that space, I'm on a break from that now, so I'm doing a very sober meditation practice these days, but I'm doing binaural beats because I want to have this out of body experience. I'm doing energy work practices. I took a Reiki training not too long ago, so I learned some techniques from that. I like to try out different things. I like to have fun with it. I like to make it personal. I use the Expand app from the Monroe Institute where they have guided meditations, all different kinds of guided meditations where you can do things like, work towards a healing practice or travel and try to experience your past lives or just listen to some music and drift away in a beautiful soundscape, and there's so many other versions out there. And when I was in my mid-20s, early to mid-20s, I did a Vipassana retreat up in Northern California where you go into total silence for 10 days. It's like a Buddhist meditation retreat. And we did nonstop meditation. You are sitting and meditating, walking and meditating, eating your food and meditating. Eckhart Tolle and teachers like that are really into presence. And so there's a lot of mindfulness meditation that has come out of that where you just tune into your body and your body's signals. And instead of being up in the mental chatter space of your internal landscape, you kind of drop into the physical space and start scanning the body and just feeling the boundaries of your own skin or noticing the sound for as far as you can reach with your hearing. That's a really fun meditation. You can start by listening to the closest sound to you, like the room tone. Start expanding out, and then you can hear a distant car across the street driving by. Maybe there's a rooster or a dog barking, and you kind of just go out as far as you can and dissipate on the sound. So meditation, as you can see, it's like an exercise for your mind, for your consciousness. And it doesn't have to just be sitting in total silence or saying a mantra. Just like we like to do different things with our bodies, some people like to lift weights, other people like to go to hot yoga, some other people like to twerk. All of these things are wonderful ways to get into your body and feel it and be in it. And the same is true with meditation. So I think, it's easy to feel oh, I'm not doing it right or I'm not doing it perfect if I'm not completely clearing my mind of all thoughts. I used to think that when I was a kid because they were teaching us that to get to the perfect level of meditation, you have no thoughts in your mind. And there are those moments that do occur, and you've probably had them too if you have a meditation practice where it's you kind of realize that, oh my God, I didn't have any thoughts for a minute, and then you're thinking again, But a good way to not have thoughts is to kind of switch gears into a feeling space. So that's why I like those presence meditations and physical meditations like walking or eating. An eating meditation is actually one of the hardest that I know of because in our culture, in Western culture in the United States, we tend to kind of scarf down our food. I don't know if people do this everywhere, but you might be standing over the counter at the end of a long day, stressed, just kind of shoveling it in, and you're kind of zoning out and your mind is in a million different places and you're thinking about the day and your jaw is just chomp, 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 chomping. And, that is a typical way that we eat our food. So a mindfulness meditation around eating would be slowing everything down, getting into your body and starting with the signal of what do I need? What does my body need to feel its best tonight or today? What am I going to cook? What am I going to pick up and eat? So you first start tuning into that, and then you bring the food and you plate it and you kind of present it to yourself and you move about that process with awareness, slowly noticing every detail, the color, the textures. Then you just take the whole thing in sort of with your senses. So you've started to absorb it visually, and then maybe you start to smell it. And you start to notice how that's making your body react. Are you salivating? Are you getting really, really excited that you're about to eat this delicious meal, And you just notice what's happening in your body and what's happening in your mind. Are thoughts coming up around this process of eating? Thoughts of, I should or I shouldn't be eating this, or this is good or bad for me. Did you do a meal blessing, and then you start to eat one bite at a time with total mindfulness. It's literally one of the hardest things to do, because bringing everything down to that slow speed and that level of awareness is, like I said, it's not typical for us. But doing that is probably one of the best ways to get in touch with your own senses, and also get on a track of like feeding yourself what's actually good for you. I need to do that more, honestly. So there are so many different ways to meditate. And then by the end of my conversation with my sister, she was saying how, once I told her my whole spiel about, well, all of these things count. I think all of this is meditation. And she was like, well, then I'm kind of meditating all the time, because she lives a very quiet life. She goes for long walks in nature quite often. And she'll just be observing everything around her. She's not someone who goes onto her phone a lot. She's not someone who uses social media. And she goes to sleep early every night and has no trouble getting to sleep. And she's like, I don't really have racing thoughts, She doesn't even drink coffee. And I was like, well, then you're already ahead of the game, because the main reason that people meditate is to manage all of those things. They want better sleep. They want more peace in their life. They want to lower cortisol, lower stress. And she's already there. So I was like, you're kind of already doing it. And walking meditation is a totally legit form of meditation. You don't have to sit in front of an altar, light a candle at 5 a.m. every morning to be a real meditator. So I would love to hear from you guys if you do meditate, or if you're interested in meditation. Which ones appeal to you? What do you use? What are you interested in trying? Do you use an app? Do you like to be embodied in your meditation? Is it more mental for you? Some people's meditation is just observing their thoughts throughout the day. Once you do this stuff for long enough, it becomes like breathing. You're doing it all the time. It's very rare that you're not meditating, because it's very rare that you're not observing your own internal landscape once you tune into this and take it seriously. And I think I'm pretty much at that level with mine, where most days I am definitely having a very internal experience where I'm very aware of what's going on with my thoughts and feelings. And the area that I'm trying to work on increasing awareness is when work stress kicks in, because there's like this group think kind of momentum that can happen in corporate environments and really high pressured environments, where it's just like a domino effect of stress. One person triggers another and another and another, and then we're all vibrating at this super high frequency for like no reason. And so I want to bring my meditation practice into those moments. And because when I'm alone, it's like mostly blissful. I'm not going to lie. There were times in my life where I was very, very miserable in my alone time, where I had the racing thoughts before bed, where I felt so much pain and so many negative nagging thoughts. But I've been working on this stuff all my life. And there was like a kind of chunk of time in my 20s into 30s where I had a ton of work to do, but I did that work. And so now mostly I feel good, And so meditation has gotten me to a point where mostly I feel good. And I'm just now trying to take it to the next level so that I can have more fun with exploring all the different functions of consciousness. So that includes like all the psi abilities, like increasing my intuition almost to the level that some people would call psychic, playing around with the concepts of manifestation. And I heard something cool the other day, because I learned about a new manifesting coach. Her name is Amy Westmoreland. And she was talking about the little manifestations within the big manifestation. So for example, let's take the classic one that a lot of people do, like it's love or money, so either one, whatever you want, take your pick, so let's say you're trying to manifest love, and you reach kind of a block, like your thing isn't happening. And so then you have to pick a new target within the target. Like, oh, I have this emotional work that I need to do because I'm actually scared of everybody that I could be in love with. Or like, I have this trauma that I need to heal. Or I have this mental block around my own self-worth and my self-esteem. So then you have to like focus in on that. It's like a manifestation within the manifestation. Like, first I'm going to get myself ready, and I'm going to make myself open to the experience of love. And that's like a little job that I have to do before the big job can happen, you know? And she was also saying that like one of the greatest tricks for manifesting is to just tell yourself that you're doing it right, even if you think you're doing it wrong or you don't know what you're doing, because using that kind of affirmation with yourself that like, I am doing it right, it's fine, it's going to be fine, is a course correcting tool. And if you fixate on like, I'm not doing everything perfectly, and I don't know if I'm going to get this right because I didn't do every single step, you know, that can pull you and your energy more in the direction of actually doing it wrong, quote unquote. And I've posted a couple of videos on manifesting before because I'm very skeptical of most of the teachers of manifesting. And I think it's a funny word because it's really just like setting a goal and doing everything in your power to achieve that goal. But manifestation brings this fun, magical quality to that process. And I do think that it is a function of consciousness. There is a component to all of it that has to do with energy, aligning the energy, and like creating the flow and all of that. But at the end of the day, there are factors that are out of our control, and it's important to just acknowledge that manifestation is not about just getting what you want and magical poof, it's all here, you know? But anyway, so that's one function of consciousness. I talked about intuition and psi abilities like psychicness, increasing psychicness. I'm really interested in the out-of-body experience. I'm really interested in more like healing work that I can do on myself especially. And so I've taken like Reiki and different modalities throughout the years, and there's so many just intuitive ways where you don't have to have any kind of certification. It's not about that. It's just about aligning your intent with an outcome and then focusing the mind and clearing away all the mental clutter and chatter, and then you're increasing the probability of that outcome occurring through your intent, through your free will. And sometimes it's going to happen and sometimes it's not, because there are chaos factors. There are random factors that will block these things from occurring from time to time. And the same is true of remote viewing. Many people who can remote view, which is the protocol where you can access data non-locally just using the mind, they can be like 99.9% accurate, and then all of a sudden they'll have a total flop. And nobody really knows why, but it happens. So it's interesting all across the board with all the psi abilities and all the functions of consciousness. There's one constant, and that is nothing seems to be, at least not yet, 100% accurate for anyone. And I think that all comes down to that randomness factor in reality, which Tom Campbell talks about. And he's one of the only people who really acknowledges that. And that's why I really like his work a lot. So meditation is a tool for all of these things. But then in just a purely practical sense, if you're not interested in any of that woo-woo stuff, you know there's so much science that backs meditation in terms of how it can improve the quality of your life. It can improve the quality of your sleep. It can help you get through the stressors of the day. It can help you slow down when you're about to make an impulsive decision and instead make a more conscious, embodied, informed decision from presence, you know? And it's also just a way to feel peaceful. So let's try a little meditation. I'm going to take a sip of my tea and then we'll try a little meditation together. This is my lemon balm and mint tea. And a storm is coming in, so I'm going to do a visualization because I love a good storm and it's good inspiration. We're going to do a cleansing and clearing meditation. I'm going to combine visualization and some of the energy techniques that I've learned and energy, moving energy through the body using the mind. So wherever you're at, just get comfortable, adjust your position so that nothing is bothering you until you feel like you can hold still. And if you can't hold still, that's okay. You can sway, you can wiggle, you can move if that's what feels good to you. Just try to close your eyes if you can and tune in to your breath. And as you're breathing, imagine the sound of distant thunder, rumbling in dark clouds that seem to go on forever in every direction, all around you. They feel a little bit ominous and a little bit exciting as they roll in towards you. You are in the center of this vast skyscape. All of a sudden, a big plunk of water falls on your shoulder, and another. Those first few drops that are just heavy and sparse. In the distance, you hear the pitter-patter of more and more drops picking up speed until all around you the rain is just pouring down and you're sitting in it, feeling that really relaxing pressure change that happens right when all the rain comes down. You're going to engage your astral senses now, smelling the good rain smell. You can feel the mist of the clouds overhead. You can reach out your senses like tentacles in every direction as far as you want, down into the ground, which is getting soaked, up into the clouds. You can feel and see the lightning crack. And this rain is more than a regular rain. It's a cleansing, cosmic rain, an energetic washing. You now become aware of your whole energy body. It can be any shape, an egg, an orb, the shape of your body. You could be like a marshmallow Michelin man, puffed out energy in all directions of your body. Whatever shape you like, just feel your own energy. Notice it. And feel the rain just combing through all of your energy, cleansing all the residue of the day, any nagging thoughts, any digital clutter, weird impressions from any media that you've consumed. It cleanses your eyes and your eye sockets, your third eye, and your whole brain is getting a big rain wash. Reset. It's going down through the throat and shoulders, relaxing your muscles and your spine, your chest, your lungs, any of those colds or flus that you ever had throughout the year, all the damage and residue from that just washed away in a big swoop. It's washing down through all of your organs, just cleansing, resetting, giving everybody a nice bath. Feel it rinsing the tension from your forearms and hands, from your fingertips, legs, knees, calves and shins. The rain is washing through your ankles and your feet, who work every day to keep you up, moving around in this world. Your toes, the soles of the feet, completely rinsed clean, inside out. And you can feel your energy expanding now, just like a flower blooming. It has everything it needs to blossom and express and fluff out, and you feel light and fresh. And just take a minute to feel your energy now, and if you find any little sticky points, anything that feels crunchy or like a little knot, send the rain into that space, softening, dissolving, and opening till every last part of you feels clean. Bring the awareness back into the body, into the boundaries of your skin. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And open your eyes. Okay. See, meditation can be fun. And now it's pouring rain out. If you're into consciousness studies and anomalous things and yoga and meditation and reading books and talking about them, subscribe to my channel. And if you liked this meditation, please tell me how it made you feel in the comments. I'll see you guys next time on Shocks Talks.